Mike Young, Stock Tip Dave is in the house. Stories that need to be told. We're back, man. It's been the longest. There goes that crunkling. It's been the longest layoff I've ever had in my life of anything. I apologize. We were consistent for a minute. I disappeared to Lake Michigan for the summertime, and I became inconsistent on the podcast. And you cannot be inconsistent when you're getting something building and you're getting it going. And I'm just sorry. And I didn't have the, I just didn't have the material when I was there. I just, I was on a lake. I was on the boat. I was writing a new movie. I was getting these things together, and I did not have the brain capacity to lock in. And I'm starting to think maybe I need to wake up like 2 hours earlier than I do. And I wake up at like 8:30, But I'm thinking maybe I need to get up 2 hours earlier and put those hours into what's going on. Because I've started to get more of like a little bit of a busier life. And it's like, I love doing this. But you gotta have something to talk about. You gotta be consistent every week. You're getting people. I don't care if it's one person, 3 people, 5 people. If 5 people are like, yo, man, where's the podcast? You want to do it for those 5 people. We don't have a ton of listeners. We don't have a ton of followers. But we've got people who dig it and want it, and I got to give it to them. And so I'm going to try to stay consistent on this damn thing, and because I love doing it. I've already written it into a show that we haven't even shot yet. Like, we're shooting a show in November. This podcast is being, you know what I mean? Like, me having a podcast is going to be part of it. So I got to get back in this world. Where have I been? I've been everywhere. This summer I was, what are you going to say, Dave? You're chomping at the bit to say something. What are you going to say?
No, I was going to say.
You're so out of the loop of learning how to sit and listen. But go ahead. What are you going to say?
I was listening. No, I was just saying we could even do shorter podcasts. If you wake up 2 hours early, you could do like record a little 30-minute segment, just throw it out there.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I am 100% at fault. I don't make excuses. It's time to change my game or get out of the game. So it's just something I love to do. You know what I mean? It's a fun thing for me. I love bringing in guests, but and we could bring in guests every week, right? But I'm like, I don't want to bring in the guests that we could bring in until we have a bigger following. It's like a catch-22. The guests that we could bring in, they'd give us more of a following, but I need to get this thing built up and get some steam before I start bringing in the Stamos and the, Jessicas and, people who've got, millions of people following them and, they're well-known people. But anyway, that being said, it's been an interesting summer leading into the fall. I just got back from my boy Jesse Itzler's 50th birthday party. So Jesse is a motivational speaker. He used to own a company called Marquis Jet, and he owned Zico Coconut Water. He's an entrepreneur. He's a high-level dude. He's my boy of 20-some years, and he threw a 50th birthday bash out in Connecticut, and he had Rakim performing, Run DMC performing, Young MC performing. He brought back the Sugar Hill Gang, and it was some of the best, most fun moments I've had in years. It was just a good group of people. My boy Jam Master Jay's kids were there. And meanwhile, I'm talking to Jam Master Jay. Rest in peace, Jam Master Jay. The anniversary of his death is coming up. Jay was a good friend of mine, and he passed away 17 years ago, I believe. And ironically, I was writing Jam Master Jay's book right before he died. So I had an idea because Jay, he had such stories of coming up with Run DMC, and I'm kind of just flowing into this topic because I'm not transitioning well. But Jam Master Jay was the cool entity of Run DMC.
Yeah.
Run is quirky. You can see Run on TV doing his sitcom thing. He's a legend in the game. Run's House. He's got, his new show's called like the Washingtons. That's on Netflix. So I met Run DMC through Jesse. He introduced me to Jam Master Jay 18 years ago, bro.
Wow.
Not only did I meet Jam Master Jay in his office, but you know who was their intern? 50 Cent.
No way.
A kid named Curtis Jackson. 50 Cent was their intern, sitting there in a t-shirt and sweatpants, writing rhymes in the corner. I swear to you, bro, I met 50 Cent. And what I remember is Jam Master Jay said, yo, man, this kid's going to blow up big. Because Jay was like trying to manage him and help him out. And he's like, yo, this kid's going to be big, man. He's like, yo, Curtis, this is my boy Mike Young. I shook his hand. I remember shaking 50 Cent's hand and thinking to myself, oh, man, this dude's got a big-ass hand. Like this is a hand that will knock you out. And Jay's like, yeah, man, he was a stick-up kid. He was this kid, he'll knock you out. You know what I mean? Like, he's a tough street dude.
Dude, he bought my friend's audio company.
50 Cent did?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a businessman, entrepreneur, but super cool dude when I met him. Like, whatever. So Jam Master Jay, I get to know Run DMC. I get, D's a good friend of mine. I perform now at D's. D was adopted. DMC was adopted, so he does a benefit every year, and I perform at his benefit. But Jam Master Jay, bro, he had such great stories because Run and D are cool as hell, but Jay was like the gangster. He wasn't a gangster, but he was like the cool-ass dude of the group. He taught those dudes how to dress. He taught them how to have swagger. And without him, he was the glue that held Run DMC together, for real.
Absolutely.
And so Jay, I'll never forget, I met him, I'm hanging with him, I'm telling Jesse, yo, man, there's like a TV show here. The way these three dudes get along and they're so different, there's like a sitcom here. So I went to Paul Simms. This is 17 years ago, man. Paul Simms is like, I think he show runs Insecure on HBO now. Paul Simms is he's a legend. He's an amazing writer, showrunner, executive producer in this business. If you look up Paul Simms' credits, but he's a beast. So I go into Paul Simms' office with Run DMC, and Paul Simms already has a DJ. He's already got a turntable in there, and he's already a huge fan of Run DMC's. And so we created this TV show for them, dudes running a radio station after their rap career, set in Hollis, Queens, the whole thing. And Paul Simms is on board, and we take it to NBC, and I'll never forget, and this is when I knew that this business was like run by some real corny-ass white people at certain positions. You know what I mean? Paul Simms. This is when I knew, and this, by the way, there's great diversity. There is diversity around this business, but when this shit happened, I was like, yo, there's some fucked up white people running things that should not be in position. I can't read that, bro.
And there's like a bunch of them.
No, look up his IMDb.
Yeah, I'm on my IMDb. So
yeah, IMDb. So we're in NBC's offices. We're in NBC's offices, and I'll never forget one of the executives at NBC said to my agent at the time, "Not enough people know about Run DMC. Not enough people really know who Run DMC." I said, "I'm like, what the fuck business are we in? I thought we were in the entertainment business." You're telling me as an executive at this company, 17 years ago, I'm sure the regime's changed, diversity's getting in places, whatever. But for this person at the time, I'm not going to say the name, but to come at us and be like, not enough people know about Run DMC, I'm thinking, oh, we got a problem.
Everybody knows.
They're the most legendary rap group of all time. First rap group ever on the cover of Rolling Stone. First rap group inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's not a debate. It's not an issue. It's a fact. So that kind of threw me for a big loop. But my point was sitting in these meetings, and we had a few meetings, and I'll never forget sitting in the meeting at like CAA or whoever the agents were at the time. And, everybody's like real in suits, CAA, they're all in suits and kind of stuffy in there, and they're kind of kissing Run DMC's ass at the time, and blah blah blah. And I'll never forget, Jam Master Jay is just on his two-way pager, not really paying attention. You know what I mean? Just like until he hears something that he likes. He was one of those dudes who was so authentic that if you threw some BS at him, he's not even looking up at you. He was 100% real. Like, he just didn't even move either way unless you were coming at him with some real shit. And until the agent said something that struck a real chord, Jay didn't talk to you. And he was just like, I just thought he was the coolest dude. And after him telling me his story of how they came up in Hollis and how they used to rock the street parties in the park, in the park, and DJ battles in the park, and then Run would come down and MC, and then D would come down, I was like, yo, Jay, you got a book, man. You gotta do a book about your life. Like, your life is bananas. I mean, they toured the world at like 18, 20 years old. You know what I mean? They didn't know what was going on. These are fresh out of Hollis, Queens dudes. All of a sudden, they are in Japan. They don't know what's going on in Japan. They land in Japan. They get off the plane. Everybody's dressed like them. They had no idea the effect that the hip-hop culture was having. So I used to have like just instead of using my phone, I would have like a digital recorder, and I'd be driving around every time Jay came to town. I would be driving around, asking him questions, recording him on my digital recorder. And believe it or not, man,
Do you still have it?
I don't have it.
No?
Bro, I don't even want to talk about it. It makes me so sick. You know, I got Jay's he's on my first comedy album, Dropping Bombs. Like if you pull up Dropping Bombs, Jam Master Jay, you can hear Jay giving me a shout out. I had the whole group do it. But he was just the most awesome, coolest dude. And so he let me into his world, and, you know, fast forward to 17, and he used to talk about his kids, you know, Jesse and TJ, and he's got another son that played football, and he used to always talk about his boys, man, like in the greatest way. And last week in Connecticut,
2 albums.
yeah, Dropping Bombs, look at Jam Master Jay, and then tell me if you could pull it up. And then last week we go to Connecticut, and here comes.
What up, Mike? This is Jam Master Jay kicking it with my man Mike Young, you know what I mean? What's going on with you, man? You need to give me a call, man. You so crazy, man. Hit me up, man, so we can do something wild tonight, alright?
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know what I mean? I mean that almost like gives me chills, and almost that gets me emotional hearing Jam Master Jay do that for me, because I just asked him, Jay, would you just give me a drop for my album? And he just didn't even hesitate. Called me, gave me a drop. Pull up Run too. Run's on there too. And I think it's called, I don't know, it says Run's House or Run something. But cut to, and by the way, this is
Run for Your Life?
Yeah, let's hear it. Oh no, this is the opening of the album. This is me. Why'd you stop it, bro?
It just happens.
Anyway, find Run on there. But my point is, 1 week ago, I go to Jesse's birthday party, and here's Jam Master Jay's kids. And they look just like Jay, and they act like Jay, and they're so smooth. And his son TJ Mizell, is a big-time DJ, just like his dad. And he is ASAP Ferg's DJ. He's Lil Pump's DJ. He tours the world now just like his dad. And he's a badass DJ. And so to reconnect with Jam Master Jay's kids at Jesse's birthday party just shows you that full circle of love, bro. And it was like, they were like, tell us about our dad. Like, because, you know, when he died, they were 5, 7 years old. They were young. And, you know, Jay did a lot. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know how to phrase this, but like, you know, he saw the upper world, the highest of the high levels of everything. And when you're in the rap game and you're on the road like that, you see the underworld.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Jay knew it all. And he was the thread, and he was the glue that held that all together. Because Run is not a street guy. Run will tell you that. He's just not. He's a funny, lovable, super high talented rapper whose brother's Russell Simmons, and, you know, he basically didn't have to worry about money that much. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get into like I don't know about his finances. I'm just saying, when your brother's Russell Simmons, you got money. You know what I mean? So where everybody else had to be on that hustle, you know, Run could he was okay. Like, I brought them in to do a commercial in Detroit for a company called DOC. So it was Run DMC for DOC. And I remember being in the trailer, and Run wouldn't even go onto the set until he got his money. You know what I mean? Which I respect, by the way, because you got to get your money. You know what I mean? Like, if you're talent, you know, you got to get paid if that's in the contract. But He wouldn't leave the trailer until he got his money. And he's like, Mike, man, when's the money coming? And we had to have the head of DOC company.
He wouldn't leave it?
He had to come, bring the check, hand it to. I got my check for bringing him in. Run got his, Jay got his, D got his. That was it. They went and shot the video. They shot the commercial. But it was an awesome experience, man. And the full circle irony of the whole thing is that I thought I was going to be in Run DMC. I mean, my dream as a kid in Detroit, rapping and growing up, I loved Run DMC. I worshiped them. I know every lyric to every song. You know what I mean? Like, that's why last night at Goal, I was hogging the microphone. I couldn't stop rapping, you know? But to see Jam Master Jay's kids grow up to be super cool dudes and, like, business-oriented and in the game and, like, following in their dad's footsteps, high-level talent, high-level guys, it just, you know, it felt good. It was real cool, you know? And I don't usually, it's funny, I don't really ever talk about, I don't even think I've ever talked about how I knew Jay. Have I?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's a story that needs to be told.
I think a story that needs to be told is the one you told me in the car on the way over here with Sanjay Gupta when you met him.
Well, Sanjay Gupta is a great dude. Sanjay Gupta, I didn't recognize Sanjay Gupta. He was a guest at Jesse's party. So we're at Jesse's party, and I just didn't recognize him. I truly did not know who he was. After a minute, I kind of remembered. But Jesse's party took place at a camp. He rented out like a summer camp situation. So everybody had their own cabin. And there were like a bunch of people that worked at the camp that just looked young, and they were moving around, and like they get you take your luggage and they put it in the cabin and tell you where to go, and they got you assigned, you know, bunks and stuff like that. It was a full camping experience. I thought Sanjay Gupta worked at the camp. So when I walked up with my luggage, he had a baseball hat on and he's totally clean shaven. He looked super young. And I'm like, hey, man, what bunk am I in? And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, what bunk am I in? I'm just trying to get the number of my bunk. I forgot what bunk assignment I have. Could you just get me the key? He's like, haha, I don't work here. He's like, I don't work here. I'm like, come on, bro. Because he was hanging out with like other people. I'm like, you guys work here. And they were behind the table where you check in. And Sanjay Gupta could not have been nicer. He's just like, dude, I swear I do not work here. I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. I'll find my bunk some other way. Obviously, that was the running joke for the weekend. Was like, Mike, that's Sanjay Gupta, bro. He's on CNN doing a travel show every week. What's wrong with you? And so by every day it was something else. Did Sanjay Gupta come and get your luggage? Yo, did Sanjay get you down to your car okay? Yo, is Sanjay taking you to the airport? Basically, I didn't recognize Sanjay Gupta, and I just didn't know who he was. But he couldn't have been nicer. And the next day, Sanjay Gupta, here's another story that needs to be told. Sanjay Gupta, I said, and I didn't even ask him this because he's of Indian descent, but I asked him because he was telling me he wants to do long-form documentary filmmaking. Yeah. He's way into it. So we were talking about these documentaries. And we were just getting into like the Ken Burns Vietnam documentary, which I think is amazing. I think Ken Burns is obviously one of the best to do it. And he was telling me he wants to get into documentary filmmaking. So I said, have you seen Wild Wild Country on Netflix? So Wild Wild Country is that documentary about Rajneesh, the cult leader from India who came to America and moved his cult into a tiny town. They took over the town. I asked Sanjay if he'd seen it. His wife's like, has he seen it? How about, you're not going to believe this story. She's like, Sanjay, tell him the story. Sanjay Gupta tells me that when he's 8, 9 years old, his parents in America raised a bunch of money with their friends to bring Rajneesh from India to America. That he was already going on the road of a martyr and like he was banned from his own country. Wow. But he was like a rock star. And they got money together and they brought Rajneesh, the cult leader, to America. And Sanjay said when he was 8 years old, he walked into his living room and Rajneesh was in there sipping a scotch and smoking a cigarette. So for all you people out there following cult leaders, just know they're just like us. They drink like us, they smoke like us, they dress like us. But the whole experience of Jesse's party was next level fun.
Yeah, I had a similar story of a mistaken identity too. I could tell you it's pretty funny from when I worked at the Islanders.
What's that?
When I worked at the Islanders, they had basically at the beginning of the hockey season, they had a dinner where they had the employees and then one hockey player at every single table. Yeah. And the hockey player sits next to me, and you know me, I'm a basketball guy. I don't really know much about hockey. I know how to sell it. Right. And one of the guys who's one of the starting players on the team sits next to me. I think he like works in the merchandise area, like selling.
Yeah, you didn't recognize him. Even though he's probably 6'5", in the best shape of anyone's life.
He looked like he was 18 years old selling the merchandise, and then I'm sitting there talking to him, being like, "Hey, yeah, we're supposed to have one of the hockey players, one of the Islanders sitting at the table." And it's like, I don't know who it is yet. And then another person sits down, and I was like, oh yeah, we're still waiting on the hockey player to come. And then as this is going on, they're handing out the microphone to every hockey player at every table. All of a sudden, they walk the microphone up to the guy that I'm talking to, and I'm like, oh my god.
Good story. Good. That's a good story. That's similar things. You don't always recognize everybody.
He thought I was joking with him. He's like, he thought it was funny. He thought I was messing with him because I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, and hockey players are hard to recognize. That's why it's interesting, because that's why hockey can't get the big contracts on television. Nobody knows who the hell they are.
Yeah.
And I've always, when I did I'm from Detroit, so I did the Red Wings theme songs back in the day.
Yeah.
I did like I Want Stanley, and I did all these songs for them, like to play in the stadiums. But we used to talk with Chris Ilitch, who's the president, CEO of Little Caesars and Red Wings. They own the Tigers. But we used to talk about ways of getting hockey more popular. And I wanted to like help them with like their branding and like start doing like cool videos. And I always thought if you put, because hockey players are funny dudes.
Yeah.
And I always thought if you just put hockey players in a funny environment and show people what they're really like, it'll catch fire. You know what I mean? Because they're like super locker roomy jokester type dudes. You know, but see if you could find I Want Stanley on there.
I Want Stanley?
Man, I got a whole history I forgot about. I'm old, man. I've done a lot of things I forgot I did.
And yeah, word travels fast too, because like he told that story to other people, and everybody else thought it was hilarious. So they're like, "Who's this kid that didn't know who you were?" And they had like people coming up to me left and right.
He became famous. But yeah, Sanjay Gupta did not take my luggage from I Want Stanley. It's a Red Wings theme song. See if I'm on there.
Rap version?
Yeah, rap version. That's me.
Uploaded by this night.
Yeah, upload it. But anyway, so that's where I was for 3 days. Jesse's birthday party. It was incredible. There were so many great people there. Yeah, this is me about to rap a Red Wings theme song. Okay, this is 16 years ago, at least. I made no money off this. They owe me money. I made some funny, corny stuff. But wait till you hear me fucking kill it.
Get your hands up, don't fear, 96 is the year. The Red Wings are here. We skate and we pass and we check our opponents to the ground. We're going crazy in Motown. Who wants the puck on a stick when it's time for a goal? Give it to Primo. Stevie on a break, let him shake, make a move or a fake. And put it in the net. Hey, give it to the Russian line, they'll be fine. Working power plays like assembly lines. Better off Kozlov, Larionov off, Fatisse off, Constantine off the rock. Don't be shocked when the
I mean, come on, man. You don't rhyme all those Russian names.
Let's prepare to celebrate the Red Wings' fate. Motown, don't wait. I want Stanley. I want Stanley.
Verse 2 coming up. The secret history of Mike Young.
Hey, look out, here comes Paul Coffey. An all-star cast is a period D. Bergevin, Russell, Strom, and Ramsey will hit you, wreck you, bump you, and check you. Try all you want, but you never get through. Motown witness another caper from Johnson Brown or Mr. Draper. Playing for keeps in the NHL. We'll put you up against the glass and say, oh well, you might be shocked, surprised, or in doubt. This is the year, let me hear you shout.
I mean, come on, man. Yo, you call Mike Young if you want a theme song for anything. Call me for your team. Alright, that's enough. Well, it's funny because back to Jesse's camp. So Jesse's my friend of over 20 years. Jesse first started out, he did that song, Go New York, Go New York, Go. He did that song. And it became like the biggest Knicks theme song. And then at the same time, I was doing the Red Wings stuff and some stuff for the Tigers and Detroit teams. And when we connected, we kind of connected on that level. And he got me to do like one song, I think, for the Chicago Bears back in the day. I can't even remember what it was. But we became good friends. He went on to be a multi-millionaire, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, connecting the threads. And that's one of my favorite things about just life, connecting threads, connecting people together. You know what I mean? And Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, he's from Detroit. I told you he hired me to write that movie. We shot the movie. It's probably never going to come out, but it's with Aaron Paul and Jeff Daniels. It's called Grounded. It's being held up by some lawyer shit. Oh, here's White Boy Rick calling.
Put it on.
Should we talk to him?
Yeah, let's get an update.
Yo, this is like an unbelievable podcast.
I think you can plug it in right here, too.
Shit, man. This is White Boy Rick calling. You've heard the movie. He's calling.
Will it work?
Prepaid collect call from
Is that or no?
Rick.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To use charges, press 2. Thank you for using T-Netics. You may start the conversation now. You have 1 minute left.
Uh-oh.
Yo,
You're
Rick.
out of money.
Am I?
Yeah, so we got 1 minute.
Oh damn! I gotta get on that JPay and pay it up right now. I'm sorry, bro. Everything all right? I'll handle that.
Yeah, I don't think it's JPay, though.
Or
JPay ain't the phone.
right. It's what's it? Serum or whatever, Sirius or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yo, I'll get the link from
What's up?
Michelle.
Yeah, everything good?
Everything's good, man. I'm just sitting down to podcast. I was gonna talk to you. Maybe
okay.
we could have talked about the movie. I'll get the link from Michelle and I'll up that.
Okay, and I'll try and call you later on.
Okay, hit me later.
We're gonna get cut off. How'd your meeting go with Conley? Good?
Good, man. Good meeting. I'll tell you all about it. Yeah, we're starting to cast. We're doing a whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
I'll talk to you
All right,
later.
Yeah, get it. All right, bro. Be safe.
Later, Rick. I mean, I might be the world's most interesting man.
Wait,
Which
JPay?
When you have a friend that's in jail, you have to put money on a thing to be able to email them or send videos or pictures. That's the JPay services. So this is a whole nother subject, but the prison system obviously is a gigantic money-making machine. You know what I mean? I mean, they make billions of dollars. Prisons do. You know, they get money from the phone cards. They get money from you put food money in their canteen. You got to pay to talk to them on the phone. So there's a company, I think it's like Sirius or something like that. I have to call up this company. I put $20 every time, on a phone card, and it's only like $1 a minute or something like that you get to talk. So when it runs out, like Rick knew right away, like when he said hello, and they said you have 1 minute left. That means we're out of money on that thing.
Yeah.
So I forgot to up the money on it. So listen, if you got a friend in prison, it costs you money. All right, that's the irony of jail. It's like I thought they're getting punished. Now why is it costing me money? But the good news is, for anyone listening, that's Rick Warshie Jr. And there's a movie that just came out called White Boy Rick, starring Matthew McConaughey. That just came out, and it's about him, the guy that just called me. So I know Rick. I think I talked about this before.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we all know who he is. But anyway, we stay in touch, and he and I are trying to do some business stuff for when he gets out, and I'm trying to help him out and help him get on his feet. And when you get out of jail after that long, you have to have a transitional plan. You have to have some plan of action before they just like kind of let you out. I mean, they could let him out in December, and they should let him out, and it's kind of up to Pam Bondi and the attorney generals of Florida and things like that. But the bottom line is he's been in for 30 years on a nonviolent drug offense. Yeah. It's time. Get him out of jail.
The movie's going to help.
The movie's going to help. It brings attention. Matthew McConaughey's out there talking about it, like, get him out. McConaughey, maybe, sometimes they overspeak when they don't know what's going on. But, McConaughey's out there confident, like, yo, we'll see you in blood, naming months that he thinks he's getting out. Like, you can't just name, it's up to them. It's not up to us. It's not up to Matthew McConaughey. It is, up to the government officials in Florida.
Yeah. Unless you can call them up on the cell phone and be like, release them now.
No, that wouldn't even help. They don't play games. You can pardon somebody if you're the president, but you're not celebrity. I mean, Kim Kardashian made a move to get that person, but it was Trump that had to pardon that person to get them out of jail. Yeah. She started the fire that got him out, got that woman out. But bottom line is he will be out at some point, sooner than later. And it's just funny that I'm just talking and he called from Florida Corrections.
You just gave me an idea. Since, you're getting all these random phone calls, I liked your idea you had a few months ago where you're like, let's just see who I can call that on the podcast that'll just answer randomly. So let's see.
Connolly would probably call it. He'll answer.
Let's see if there's anybody you can call randomly that'll answer.
Let me text Connolly. I'm on the podcast. Should we call you?
Just to see, just you know, spin the dial, see who pops up.
Yo, last night was it was tense, man. I invited a bunch of people to goal, and this is something. Listen, I am single, so I can just say this. I invited a bunch of people, and then other people got invited, and before I knew it, there were like 3 girls in the building that I had dated at different times. So I became like, I got like hyper conscious and like uncomfortable. I basically hid in the booth with Doug Ellen. You know what I mean? I hid in the booth. I didn't have it in me. You know what I mean? This girl's mad. That girl's happy. This one's got a dog. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, I'm the guy that invites a girl that's got a dog in a bag. Leave your dog at home. Okay? I get it. I love your dog. Everyone loves animals. Dogs are great. Leave it at home. Don't bring your dog to karaoke. You know what I mean? Your little hairy-ass dog. People don't want that shit flying around near their chicken tenders.
Yeah, you had an issue with another girl who brought a dog a couple days ago. You're like, oh, she's yanking her dog. It's
Yo,
not
because
right.
she brought a dog and she was flopping the dog around, not paying attention to how she was carrying her dog. So this woman brings a dog into goal, and she's got her dog with one hand holding it, and it's like, you think you're doing something positive for the dog? That dog's like, why the fuck am I stuck near the ceviche and you're twisting my neck up on your lap? And there's loud music playing. That dog wants to be near a tree. A dog doesn't want to be in a restaurant. Just so you know, I speak dog. I can see what these dogs are looking at. None of them are happy. Okay, so all you dog lovers out there, they put fake jackets on your dog and you say that they're emotional support dogs. You're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just an uncomfortable weirdo who has to have her dog with her all the time. Or him. I've seen dudes. Hey, bro, if you're the guy listening who's in my building on La Cienega, and you're that guy who's got a little orange vest on his dog, and you bring your dog into the gym, are you crazy, bro? Are you crazy? Your dog is looking around like it just wants to piss on every weight in the gym.
So you just reminded me of a story the other day, because you're talking about emotional support animals. Someone tried to bring an emotional support squirrel on an airplane and got kicked off.
Good. I'm kicking off your squirrel. Get your stupid peacock off the plane. Get all your animals out of here. You know what I mean?
I'm really glad I was going to bring my dog to work today.
Were you? I love your dog. I'm sure I love your dog, Aaron. And this is a perfect environment for a dog.
Yeah.
But would you bring your dog to a karaoke bar?
Absolutely.
No.
No. What kind of dog is it?
Australian cattle dog.
Yeah, that dog doesn't want to be in karaoke. That's a beautiful dog.
No, loud noises.
That wants to be around nature, that wants to take a walk, that likes to see people when it wants to see people. These people are forcing their animals into situations they don't want to be. So what I say is, your dog needs emotional support. Your emotional support dog needs an emotional support cat or needs an emotional support person. You should put the vest on and treat your dog right. Because you're backwards. Your shit is all backwards. I'm not kidding. I feel like I'm channeling Rappaport right now.
No, but I could tell you it was a little tense for you last night because one of the girls you invited knew me. And so she came up to me one time. She's like, yeah, I'm here, but I think he invited some other people, so I'm going to talk to you for right now.
Who, the girl with the dog?
No.
Does she have an orange dress on and a weird...
No,
like,
the girl from the Comedy Store.
Yeah, that girl caused a whole riot. You know what I mean? God bless her. I'm not mad at her, but like she comes in with barely half a shirt on. You know what I mean? She's fully naked in goal. She was one of Miley Cyrus's backup dancers. I know her for a while. She comes in, she's dancing, she's humping the table, she's on a table, she's making a scene. Everyone's like, oh, loves her. She's good for business for goal, but she's stressing me out. So goal, it was great for me. I ended up just grabbing a microphone as my emotional support blanket, and I ended up rapping for an hour straight. I hogged the mic. I'll say that. I did hog the mic last night.
Mike Hog Young.
You know what I mean? I get in one fight with Connolly a night, of one fight per karaoke. He's hiding a mic. I'm hiding a mic. He's telling me I'm a mic hog. He's a mic hog. Bottom line is, yeah, it was a high intensity night. I had to get out of that booth. Plus, I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
I haven't had a drink in 10 months. I'm going crazy. I need to start drinking. And I'm not saying that as an alcoholic, weirdo, maniac. I'm just saying enough is enough. I thought the plan was I was going to take a month off drinking. January. That was in January. I'm like, I'm going to take a month off and see how I feel. Well, now it's 10 months later because I felt so good. But I don't like feeling this good. I need to feel. I gotta feel bad again.
Well, last night it would have been understandable because instead of being tense, you would have been like, all right, I can handle this.
Totally. But then I started looking around, and they actually did have Don Julio and Yeho. I feel like they brought it back for me because in the beginning of the new goal, they didn't have it.
I ordered that for somebody last night.
Yeah, they got Don Julio and Yeho. It's back. I'll be drinking soon enough, but when I come back to drinking, I'll be very calm. I'll try to do it only on the weekends because I was one of those dudes who was not out of control, but I was slow sipping tequila on a nightly basis, and I cannot tell a lie. And I was rolling up to the Comedy Store with my silver flask, not because I'm cheap and not because I need to drink, but because they don't have good liquor. So I like good tequila. So I was sipping my good quality tequila in my flask. It was getting to a point where I was doing it basically every night, and I was starting to wake up dehydrated, feeling like shit. I took the month off. That became 10 months, and now I'm feeling it's time to come back. I just don't want to get vertigo again.
Yeah, no, but you just give me an idea. Also, it's sure. Connoisseur of tequila, maybe test some tequila, make your own line.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll start a tequila company. I mean, apparently I know enough people. So just like that, white boy, I don't want to call him white boy Rick. His name is fucking Rick. Just like that, Rick had his girl send me the company. It's called Cirrus. It's called Securus. So you go on Securus and you put your money in for your friends that are in jail, and that's how you get your money up. So I got to put money to talk to Rick, and we're talking because when he gets out, I think he should go on a speaking tour, and just tell anybody in the drug game, any young kids coming up that, you know what I mean. Especially nowadays, it's a different world. You know what I mean? Because now everyone's a snitch. Everybody's on video. Everybody's on Snapchat. Everybody is like, it's not the time to be doing secret shit.
Yeah, that's why I kind of liked growing up in the 90s because there's no social media. You still had like people like Michael Jordan. If he played now, he would get eaten alive every day by social media.
Exactly. Michael Jordan could not be smoking his cigars and trying to date 96 girls in 82 cities.
Yeah.
If this was happening right now. Social media has changed the way the world looks, and that's that. But let's get back to where have I been? Where the hell am I? Where was I? I did about six cities with Saget over the summer, and that was fantastic. Bob and I always have a great time, and a lot of positive things have happened. I like to keep it positive, so I wrote the Garment District movie. The contract is on the table right now, and I don't know, man. These podcasts are weird because it's like I don't want to. What do I have to lose if I say names of companies? Big deal. I can say whatever I want, correct? It's life.
You can talk about how you and Bob made someone laugh that they fainted in the audience because they were laughing so hard.
No, they didn't faint from laughter, Dave. When I got on stage opening for Saget in Portland, there was a 911 emergency. Somebody fainted in the front. It was before I even started. I came on stage, a guy fainted, a girl jumped up. She's like, "Call 911." That was the first time that ever happened to me on stage. So, everything happens in comedy. You don't know what you're going to be dealing with. But let's see, who else was at Jesse's? These are good stories. So he knows so many high-level people, high-level entrepreneurial people. Who are you going to say?
Well, he owns my former employer.
Oh, yeah, Jesse owns a piece of the Atlanta Hawks. So he had some of the Hawks guys, like I think the GM was there, the coach of the Hawks was there. He had Young MC got on stage and did Bust a Move. I mean, Young MC, man, he flew him in from Phoenix. And it's just funny to see these old school hip hop dudes because these guys, they really rap. They don't do this crazy mumble rap shit. And I know mumble rappers, I know there is a talent there somewhere. I know you're saying something when you're mumbling. I can't hear it because I just can't hear what you're saying. But these dudes, like you see Rakim, I mean, this is a poet, man. This is a high-level poet. Rakim did 3 songs at Jesse's birthday party. I mean, I was like, this is like my dream concert. And the one cool thing that Jesse did to keep it on a positive note, it was his birthday, but he wanted to speak about everybody that was there. So he didn't let anybody get up and say something about him. He talked about every single person. So he did 6 speeches during his weekend and brought 25 people up per time, whatever. And he brought me up on stage and just said the nicest told a funny story about everybody. And he told this story about me and him. We've known each other over 20 years. We were running mates when we both were young, going wild in our 20s in LA. We were going clubbing. And he told a story about how I snuck us into a nightclub. I snuck us into the hottest nightclub in Hollywood. My first 2 months ever living in LA, there was a place called like Bar One. And it was like where Mickey Rourke and all these older celebrity dudes and Charlie Sheen and everybody's hanging. And I just knew, and no offense to doormen and security out there, but like, I'll trick you when I'm in my 20s. I'm a master. Me and my boys in Detroit, we could sneak in anywhere. We used to sneak in every single place. We sneak in a game, a concert. We'll figure out a way to get in a place.
You might have been a part of the story that I read about then, because I actually read a story about Jesse being in LA in the 90s. And he would go to the Beverly Hilton or one of the high-profile hotels, and not even stay there. Never stayed a night in the hotel ever. Yeah. And he would just go to the bar, and he met some of the most influential people of his life in this bar.
Yes, that was one of his techniques as an entrepreneur, was to position himself in a place where he knew he could meet people. And that was just part of our mentality. Like, I was definitely with him going into the Beverly Hills Hotel, ponying up and hanging out, and who you see there. And I literally, by the way, from doing stuff like crazy shit like that, I'm telling you, bro, I've met so many connections. I feel like that's kind of how I met Kevin and Leo and Toby. You know what I mean? I kind of just snuck into a basketball game, and they became my friends. But my point is that he told the story about how I rolled up at Bar One, and he's like, how are we going to get in? We're never getting in here. I'm like, watch this. I walk up to the door, and I go, I'm Mike Young. I play for the Celtics.
No
I just said, that's all I said, because I knew nobody was going to research the Celtics lineup at the time. So I just said, I'm Mike Young, who I am. I am Mike Young. I had my ID to say I'm Mike Young. No smartphone. This dude wasn't checking shit. I said, yo, I'm Mike Young. I play for the Celtics. He checked. He goes, let me see your ID. I show him my ID. All right, it's Mike Young. Come on in. We walked right into the club and went wild, had a blast. And it was like when we were both in like heavy in the rap game. And I was trying to get a record deal, and he already had a record deal on Delicious Vinyl. And I remember there was a cypher going on. There was a freestyle rap going on. And it was Everlast from House of Pain, and this dude, Justin Warfield, and the guy that played, I swear this is crazy that this memory's coming up, Corey Nemec, I think his name was. He was like on one of those shows like Corky Does. I forgot the hell. He was an actor, but he was also a rapper. And I didn't really care about breaking into somebody's cypher. I just wanted to freestyle with everybody. So I got in the cypher in the circle, and I start freestyle rapping, and I kind of didn't ask to get in. And I'll never forget, I start battle rapping with Everlast. And he snatches the beer. He's about to fight me. He snatches the beer out of my hand. I was like, yo, bro, what's up? What was that for? So I squared up for a minute with Everlast, and he starts talking shit. And next thing I know, he's got a fucking shank, like a knife that he's holding, like in his hand, in between. This motherfucker's going to stab me.
Damn.
Like, Everlast was ready to go. And that's when I knew, oh, he's real. Like, this dude's not playing games. I'm definitely not going to get stabbed in a freestyle rap cipher. But those were just the memories that Jesse was bringing up about us, you know, knowing each other for so long and sneaking in. And then the other story he told was he's an endurance runner now. He's an endurance athlete. And he was getting ready to do a paddleboard competition where he paddleboards 30 miles around Manhattan and the Hudson River and all around Manhattan. So he's like, Mike, I'm paddleboarding tomorrow. You and your brother, I got you guys a canoe. You're going to be my spotters on the paddleboard competition. And I'm like, okay, cool. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I can keep up with a paddleboarder. I'm on a canoe.
I hope you didn't fall in. That water's dirty.
You kidding, bro? It gets worse. We get to it's 6 o'clock in the morning. The next morning, I got Jesse's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I got his bananas. I got his coconut water. I got everything. This is a few years back. And we're ready to go. And we put the canoe in the water. And first I look around. Me and my brother get in the canoe. We realize there's no other people in a canoe. There's no canoes in the Hudson River. And when we sit in the canoe kind of like lowers deep. And I'm like, man, this doesn't feel safe at all. We're wearing life vests, but this doesn't feel right. And so there's 200 paddleboarders about to take off in a race. Everybody else that's spotting everybody is on a jet ski. There's like boats out there. There's real people doing real things. We're in a canoe. Long story short, the gun goes off for the race. The starter pistol goes. The racers take off. We lose Jesse. We can't move. We're going 1 mile an hour in the Hudson River, me and my brother. Every single paddleboard racer is already 500 yards away. We can't find anybody. We can't catch anybody. I'm telling my brother, he's in the front, I'm in the back. I'm like, yo, bro, this feels dangerous. We lost Jesse. This isn't going to work. We're like, let's just give it a shot. Let's go hard for a second, see what happens. We start going hard. A freaking cruise ship comes down the Hudson, passes us, gets a wave on us. Bam, we almost flip over in the Hudson. We're like, fuck this. We're pulling off on the pier. We pull off to the pier in the Hudson River where the Intrepid is, where they store the Intrepid shuttle or whatever that is. What is the Intrepid? A space shuttle?
I'm not sure, but you can never be quite sure what the Hudson. I mean, that's where that plane landed.
Plane lands in there. People die in there. It's full of shit. So we pull off the pier. We lose Jesse. It's 100 degrees out, and he's about to paddleboard with no water at 30 miles. We get to the pier. Luckily, by the grace of grace, we get to the pier, and ESPN is shooting a documentary series on the pier. So there's like 3 giant athletes that are like, that see us, and we're like, Mayday. We get to the pier because we can't get out of the thing to get we can't get the canoe out. So we're like, yo, help, help. And we look up, and it's Dhani Jones, like the linebacker, free safety or whatever for like Denver. I don't even know where he played. But long story short, he helps. He gets us out of the canoe. We get the canoe out of the water. We put it on. I call Jesse's house. His boy answers. I'm like, yo, bro, we got to get a driver. We got to get a car. We got to find Jesse. Driver comes, picks us up. We get in the car. We are driving around Manhattan, going to all the points of water access and looking for Jesse. Bro, it's 2.5 hours later. We're on the east side of Manhattan. I'm on a bridge in a full panic. Finally, I see Jesse coming past us. I'm like, yo, Jess! He's like, what the fuck, man? Where have you been, man? What's going on? I'm like, I'm so sorry, bro. We lost you. We were in the canoe. Meanwhile, I'm thinking it's his fault for giving me a canoe. You can't canoe on the Hudson. I'm like, I got your sandwiches and your water and your bananas. So I put all his shit in a Ziploc bag and I throw it to him over the bridge. And it gets to him, man. And we get the food and water to Jesse, and he's okay. And we save him. But he was very upset.
I'm amazed it didn't go in the water when you threw it.
It did, but it floated for a second. He got it. So we get done with the race, and I happened to be shooting My Man is a Loser at the time. The movie was Stamos and Rappaport. So that night, I'm going to do a screening at Jesse's house just for my friends and my brother. So we go, and Jesse's in a bad mood because he was dehydrated. You know, we almost lost him. It was terrible. But we were all okay. We laughed about it for a long time. We go to Jesse's apartment in Manhattan. We're going to screen the movie. I tell him I'm very nervous because no one had seen the movie yet. I have a cut of it. I tell my brother, I want you to mark down every time somebody laughs, that we laugh. I want to see if I can get 100 laughs out of this movie. So my brother had a yellow legal pad and a pencil. He was going to mark the laughs down. And so the movie starts, and we've been in the heat and sun all day. The movie starts. 3 minutes in the movie, I look over, my brother's snoring. He's out cold. Doesn't record a single thing. He's totally out. Jesse's sleeping with his foot getting massaged by some masseuse. And I basically watched my movie by myself. And that was another story that he told on stage in front of everybody. And so basically it was a love fest at Camp Jesse. And this girl keeps texting me. What's she saying, man?
Is it calling text back or no?
Yeah, but he doesn't want us to call him right now. I'm on the podcast. We'll call you. We're not calling him. We could do a couple random calls, but we're not. I just wanted to use this podcast to catch up, man, and talk about where I've been and where we're going. And so
Single
Mike is something that's a passion project. And we are going to shoot a pilot. We're going to go make Single Mike. And I'm very excited because it's my R-rated Seinfeld. It's just my fun piece that I know there's a story there about this character based on me, you know, who navigating single life in LA and, you know, who's been heartbroken, who is now fully engulfed in single, you know, and is too afraid to get back into a relationship. So he's on this journey where nothing but fun and funny happens, but the heart of it is he's scared to get back into it. So I got the financing. I've been very lucky, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how this just keeps happening. It's a beautiful thing, but the right people are believing in me. So I basically threw out a couple emails. I asked a couple people, did they want to get involved? There were no real questions asked. I got a yes. I got, send me your wiring information, and they dropped the money in the account, and now we're going to shoot it. And I'm starting to cast up, and our cast is looking pretty damn amazing. And I don't really want to talk about who's in it right now, just because I'm Jewish. I don't like to jinx things.
Yeah.
We believe in weird shit. But let's just say I got some of the most talented, funny people in the world to me. Other people, I don't care. You know what I mean? If you don't like who I'm bringing in the mix, that's on you. I got to be around people I love, respect, think are funny, think are talented, have discipline.
And that you can work with.
That I can work with, I can flow with, that come to the set professional. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, this business is so weird because you could be super talented, super funny, but if you're not showing up on time and you're showing up late, that shit costs money. You know what I mean? So, I'm not trying to give advice, but if I'm going to give any kind of advice, I'm going to say be on time and be as professional as you can be. It's like, listen, Dave, I'll use you as an example. Connolly, listen, we wanted, don't make any excuses right now. I'm just going to put you on blast. But this is something you learn because you've never done anything in a scripted series or anything. But I wanted Dave to print up 2 scripts, episode 1 and 2, with cover sheets and get them to me and Kevin and get us so we can get to we're going to go make copies and get them to the actors. Now that sounds like a simple task, and it is a simple task, but you have to check every single page. You have to make sure that the cover pages match on every single script. And you did kind of make sure that all the pages were there, but you had 2 different cover pages on the scripts, and that's unacceptable. We didn't scold you, we didn't go off on you, but just for you to know, because this isn't your business until now. You've never been in this business. You've been selling tickets at high-level suites and around the country to basketball games and sporting events. You know what I mean? This is a different game.
Yeah.
But you got to be on your A game. So when you deliver a script, if there's a weird cover page or something's not making, or if there's one page missing in that script, it's fucked.
Yeah,
the whole thing's fucked. And so any actor, producer, director who gets that is going to throw that shit in the trash and get pissed. And you're going to waste a lot of time. So point being, just when you have, when someone says, get this script, get it copied, get a cover page on it, and get it to me, you look at every single page. I don't care if it's 30,
double, triple take it.
30, 60, 120 pages, whatever it is. Check every page, make sure it's there, and then you deliver. Because if there's one page missing, then the show isn't there.
Makes everything.
That's it. You got to be organized, and it's not a big deal. It's just a discipline, and it's just something you got to do.
And you're right, because I've read articles of high-name actors, getting in arguments with the directors or the funders because they show up late, or they're not prepared, or they're just, like you said, they're not disciplined about, their work ethic on the set. So they just kind of come and go as they please, and it's like. And these are high-name people that, I've read about doing that.
Wait, what do you mean come and go? Oh, you're talking about high-level people acting inappropriately?
Yeah, they'll come in late, they'll show up late. Sometimes they won't be sober, sometimes they will be. So just because, they've established themselves and they,
Well, that's the thing. People fucking, in this business, Argus Hamilton, the comedian, always had a great opening line that he used to do all the time. And I think it was like, L.A. is like, huge ego, no, I don't want to say no talent, but people have these egos, and they think that this entertainment business is bigger than it is. It's like if Ford Motor Company wanted to dissolve the entertainment business, you know what I mean? There wouldn't be any more entertainment.
Yeah.
If 2 major corporations, if Ford and General Electric wanted to say, yeah, let's not have any movies anymore, they could just buy the studios and shut them down, But the egos that are in this business, people think it's the biggest thing in the world. We're lucky to even have this business. I feel lucky to be able to write stories and get them out there, or tell jokes and have a platform, And it's when you get these fucking people with these egos who think that they're the shit, you got to knock them down. You know what I mean? You got to chop them down. And that's what comedians are for. That's what comedians are for. it's funny because we're in that hashtag Me Too movement shit right now, and I've been watching like Bill Burr on stage, and Burr is just murdering it. You know what I mean? That dude don't give a fuck. I mean, he tells the truth from the guts of truth, you know. And he's coming out with it, and he's like, same with Chappelle, you know, all of them, you know, their take on this thing, on this whole situation is interesting and real and correct, because the rapey, powerful scumbag motherfuckers that have been doing dirt forever, you're getting weeded out, found out, put in jail. Your time's out. Your time's up. Time's up. You're done. You know what I mean? But there are these other lingering dudes that just made some fucked up decisions and bad mistakes, you know what I mean? And like had some shitty moves in the bedroom that even when you make an allegation against them, you're ruining their career in one day. And that is fucked up. That is to take a dude's ability to earn a living away for just a mistake he made one time 15 years ago. You know, I'm not talking about, I'm saying if you did real dirt, fuck you, get the fuck out. And if you did it multiple times, get the fuck out. If you're a serial groper, if you're a serial rapey motherfucker, get the fuck out. The game's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like my joke. Personality's making a comeback. You know what I mean? I'm doing things without power and money. You know what I mean? We gotta, you know what I mean? I'm doing fine, but like I don't have that George Clooney dough. Point is, the comedians that are speaking out on it right now, for everyone that I've seen, is killing it in a great way.
They're killing Harvey Weinstein every time.
Yeah, like Chappelle's joke is amazing. He's like, the first time I looked at Harvey Weinstein, all I thought was, oh, he rapes. He rapes. You know what I mean? I mean, he just got that face, you know?
Jeff Ross had a good one, too. Jeff Ross goes, yeah, everybody in Hollywood has seen Harvey Weinstein's dick except for him.
That is genius. Jeff Ross is one of the best, man. All these dudes, man. It's like, it's funny because there's a wave of like new, fresh comedians, but there's also this wave of comedians that are like really taking up stage time, and I know that a lot of them don't have a passion, and you know, it's a catch-22 because I don't like to judge like these people coming up that just want to do comedy to get a TV show or just want a comedy to showcase something. But you get the fuck out of the way of the real comedians who live and breathe this type of shit. You know what I mean? Like the people on this wall up here, these are comedians. You know what I mean? Steve Byrne, Bobby Lee, Brody, Burt Kreischer, Bill Burr. These are motherfuckers who earn their stripes. You know what I mean? Who've, you know, me and Bobby Lee back in the day, bro, I could tell you stories. You know what I mean? We were doing shows in the basement of the Ramada Inn 5 nights a week in front of 3 people. You know what I mean? Bobby Lee hit it on Mad TV, had $300,000 in the bank. We went to get hookers together. You know what I mean? I almost ruined Bobby Lee's career in one day. Did I tell this story on this podcast?
I don't know if it's on the podcast, but I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Bobby Lee, he's got his girl now. He's good, but 15 years ago, he wasn't so good. You know what I mean? And we were just enjoying his success at the moment. I signed my first deal. He had Mad TV. We had some money in our pocket. We went to the back of the LA Weekly. We said, let's go have some fun. We went to a place where there were supposed to be hookers. Fuck it, I don't care. I'll say it. We went to the place. It was like a hotel, motel type of situation. I pulled up. Bobby's got no street sense at all. He's straight out of San Diego. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. I'm a hood from Southfield. We walk up. I see a guy and a girl on the balcony. Immediately, I think sting operation. It's about to go down. Bobby, don't go in there. This is a sting operation. You're crazy. I'm going in. I'm going in. You can stay in the car. He doesn't even see what I see. So I said, okay, do whatever you want, bro.
Weren't you like ask her if she's a cop right away?
I said, yo, Bobby, when you walk in, just ask her if she's a cop. Bobby Lee walks in, goes in the door. I don't see what he does. 40 seconds later, he comes running out downstairs in the car. We're gone. I said, what happened? He said, oh, I asked her if she was a cop. She didn't answer me at all. She didn't say a single word, and I ran out. And bottom line was the next day, no joke, on the news, major prostitution ring busted on Sunset Boulevard at that motel. So you're welcome. I saved your career, bro.
Your senses were tingling.
Or I ruined it, because maybe that controversy would have, you know, I didn't ruin it. Bobby Lee's doing great. Bobby Lee comes up in a half shirt with holes in it. He's probably got $1.5 million sitting in the bank. I don't want to hear him complain about shit. Anyway, we've been on here for an hour. I've been rambling, talking, told a couple good stories, where we've been, where we're going. I'm excited to get back on this thing because I love doing this, but I gotta stay consistent, you know. And even Al, the head of, Al Magical, the head of ATC, is like, listen, you gotta, I'm on the fence of getting cut. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm on the fence, and it's been a theme in my life where I've taken on too many things and one drops. But I don't want this to drop. You know what I mean? I want to keep this going and figure out a way. And maybe I just have to hire like a social media person who just, you know what I mean, just gets the word out crazy. And that could be you, but I mean like a professional, someone who just all they do is social media shit. You know what I mean? They know. Because all I'm doing is I'm getting the link. We put it up on All Things Comedy. That's a good thing. But like the extra shit you got to do. Like I'm taking the link. I'm going to like University of Arizona. I'm dropping it in people's comment boxes.
Yeah.
I'm literally hijacking places just to get people to listen.
We're over 1,000 on Instagram right now.
Yeah, no, and that's great. But I want to be 1 million. Like, how do we do that? And I think I also have to get out in the world and get back on Kreischer's podcast, get back on Gentleman's Dojo, get on Bobby Lee's. I got to get on other people's podcasts, but I haven't freaking been in LA. And now I'm in LA.
Yeah,
so,
like one appearance on one of those shows, you could get everybody knowing about it.
Exactly. So, and I haven't pulled my favors. I haven't pulled any favor cards like that because I don't want to just go on a podcast just to promote my own podcast. Although maybe that is the smart move. I don't know. Bottom line is, I got stories and they need to be told, and people
come on yours too as well and promote theirs.
Exactly, and they love hearing the stories. And like I know that I'll get with Joe Rogan at some point. You know, we were on the road together for a year or two, but I'm not the dude that's gonna ask to get on it because Joe's got a real business going on, and he's talking to people that they're promoting things. They're you know what I mean? So I want to have either my show that's going. And then he and I can kick it and really talk about how much fun we had on the road and what I learned from being in front of those audiences with him and how disciplined he was and showed me.
You definitely can get on there. I mean, he had one of my childhood friends on there for his stuff.
Yeah, if you're putting Stock Tip Dave's childhood friends on, who knows? Why isn't Mike Young there? But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, this is Stories That Need to Be Told. We told some good stories. We've been on for an hour. We'll be back next week. Bob Saget and I will be in Sioux Falls, Iowa next Saturday, playing that casino in Sioux Falls. And then we've got Philly, New York, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, all coming up in about a month or so.
Wow.
So we got some cool gigs coming. I'm going to shoot my damn special. If I have to pay for it myself, I don't care. But, I'm a scrappy person who's had to be self-disciplined. So I am very disciplined, but I want to take it to another level of discipline where I can get that focus. And I think maybe waking up earlier is going to be a thing for me. Maybe I need to put 2 hours into one of my projects so that my brain can function enough to get back to being here. So anyway, Stories That Need to Be Told. Mike Young, Stock Tip Dave. We'll see you soon. Aaron, thank you. All Things Comedy. We're out. Peace.